On today's Moving the Chains, Jerel, the first installment of our ring season recaps from this past season, we've got head coach Andrew Webb of the 2A state champion Strom Thurmond Rebels.
Yeah, man, this is a program that's been knocking on the door for the last few years, just really dying, for a championship. That's one of the best fan bases that we see across the state. Really excited for Coach Webb, what he's able to accomplish there. But more importantly, I'm excited for that community. They really deserve it. They show up and show out every week. They showed up down in Orangeburg. So it was a lot of fun catching up with Coach Webb about the ride, going from being unranked to winning the state title.
Hope you guys really enjoy it. This is not just a deep dive of the game, but really a deep dive into the whole season for the Rebels. So once again, head coach Andrew Webb talking through the state title run for the Strom Thurmond Rebels back in 2025.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.
Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview today for a ring season recap. A very special guest, the head coach of the 2025 2A state champion Strom Thurmond Rebels, Andrew Webb. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. That sounds good too, man.
You like that state champion remark there? Is that pretty good, huh?
I sure do.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time, man. We really do. If this is you guys' first time tuning in, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more, and our website, movingchains.com, our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. This was Coach Webb's fourth season as the head coach of the Rebels. They went 13-2 on their way to that 2A state title. Coach, we've seen you guys play quite a bit the past few years, regular season, postseason as well. But for folks maybe have not seen you and your group play, how would you kind of, maybe describe the identity of your team on both sides of the ball? How would you say that you guys kind of get after it on Friday nights?
I think everything starts with taking pride and playing in the peach fields. There's a standard that's been set. I've said this a whole bunch. A standard that's been set from the people that came before us. And they're the ones that has made Strom Thurmond football special. And it's been our job to uphold that standard and try to take it higher. So, when people come watch us, the ones that we have to answer to are the people that's played Strom Thurmond football. And we hope that when they watch us, the first thing that they say is they play to the standard of pride, class, courage, and a will to win. And, that standard doesn't have any circumstance to it. It's got to be the same standard, whether you win and losing, state championship, first round, whatever it is. You got to play to that standard. I hope people would say that we play physical on both sides of the ball. We run to the ball fast on defense. And, those are the things that I hope when people watch us, that's what they say about us.
Looking at the numbers a little bit, Coach, 36 points per game on offense, holding opposing offenses to 13 points per game on the defensive side. Our podcast is always going to be about the players. Who are some of the guys that led you on the state title run?
Well, our seniors were incredibly special. And, they were our best players, they were our best leaders, and they were our best people. And when those three things line up, you got a chance to have something special. So that group as a whole really, really did a good job of setting the tone for our season. And, the first Deontay Phillips, that is kind of the energy, the heartbeat of our team. And offense, defense, he played both sides of the ball. The energy that he brings to practice, the energy that he brings to the weight room, he's kind of the tone setter, in my opinion, And then there's other guys that are outstanding that compete with each other, compete against themselves. They talk junk to Deontay, and Caleb Simpkins had a really, really good year for us. Incredible in the playoffs. We wouldn't have won the state championship without him. Brashawn Lee is really good, playing quarterback for us down the stretch. Jalen Collins, senior, plays in that secondary. Shy Williams plays both sides of the ball. Really, really special. Bryson Coleman, our leading tackler at Mike linebacker, played outstanding for us. And the guys up front, the guys up front for us on both sides of the ball, they did such a good job controlling the line of scrimmage. And, Grayson Smith, Grady Stone, it was his first year playing football for us on the defensive line. He was really undersized but so strong. Did really good for us. Senior Kobe Winless, great job at defensive tackle, kind of doing the dirty things that doesn't get a lot of publicity, but he's in there fighting double teams, keeping linebackers free. And the guys up front, there was 3 seniors, Amari McClenny, Michael Warren, and Carter Boatwright, who got a 2A All-State. This incredibly special group of seniors.
Y'all have a great coaching staff that I feel like has been together for quite a while now there with that program. Who are a few of those guys you might want to shout out that have been a big part of this run and, getting to this state title championship this year?
Yeah, I gave Coach Addis about as many shout outs as I could. The job he did with the offensive line was outstanding. Coach Noah Bell, our quarterback, in that 2019 state championship at Saluda. This was his first year. He coached our tight ends, H-backs, did an outstanding job working with Coach Addis with the linemen, the tight ends. Coach Drake Dunlap, he's the guy upstairs, and he's the guy that I trust. When he says something, I do it. And, he doesn't get enough credit for the job that he does preparing each week, preparing the quarterbacks each week, and the job that he does on Friday nights. Just really, really good. Coach Tony Hillary, Strom Thurmond legend, has been there forever. I think he is the only person in Strom Thurmond history with 2 state championships. He was an assistant coach on that 05 team and this year. Really, really proud to have him around. Coach Brandon Aarons did a great job with our running backs. Coach Zach Felton was another guy that helped our line. So the guys on offense, it's been a lot of fun to work with them. And then, the defense, Coach Tony Temple, he runs our weight room. And the job that he does day in, day out in that weight room, we feel like is part of what separates us from the middle of the pack. We feel like the job that he does in that weight room every day with our guys, there's not a better person to have in the weight room than him. And, the job that he does, he can never get enough credit for in that weight room. Coach Brett Newton, he's been our defensive coordinator for 4 years. Just watching him grow and learn and continue to, make Strom Thurmond defense as best we can. He's done a really good job with that. Coach Scott King, this is his 2nd year doing the defensive line for us. He coached with me at Clinton. He coached me at Clinton, and really happy to be a part of a state championship again with him. Coach Champ Merriweather, he's another Strom Thurmond guy. Coaches our DBs. Coach Elijah Juan Page. This is his 3rd year with us, coaching DBs. Just the job day in, day out that those guys do, man. I can't give enough credit. Coach Forrest Wins, another guy that helps us a lot with special teams. And I sure hope I ain't left nobody out. I tried to name them all. But I'm very, very blessed and fortunate to work with good coaches and, more importantly, good men.
Love that, Coach. I don't think you left anybody out. One of my favorite things about doing these ring season recaps is hearing about the journey, that climb to go plant that flag on the mountaintop. And a lot of the times, like yours, sometimes it takes a couple years to get there. I'll never forget talking to you a few years ago after you guys, played a tough one against Gray in the playoffs there. And you were so confident that you were going to be back and you guys got there. But describe, for us and the listeners, what that climb's been like the last few years to get that state title.
Well, the loss in 22 to Saluda, that hurt. And, they really left no doubt in that game. We had beat them. Y'all saw the game in 22 in the regular season where we beat them. And we probably played a little bit above our heads that night. The couple breaks, they went our way. And then in the playoffs, they kind of put it on us. But it still hurt. So you go to work. We got to get back to the 3rd round. We get back to the 3rd round, and that we're one play away. We need one play to go our way, and Gray made the play ultimately, and we didn't, and they beat us, and that really hurts. When you get your butt whipped, you walk out of there saying, "Man, hold your head high." You know, we did good, we fought hard, but when you got a chance to win and it doesn't go your way, that one hurts bad. So we went back to work in 24. We were really inexperienced. Hurricane Helene didn't help us. You know, right, going into conference play, you know, we're out of school. We don't practice for 10 days or whatever it is. And regardless, there was a bunch of people that had to face the same thing we did, but that didn't help us. And we ended up in 2024, we were 6-4. And all 4 of those games, we had a chance to win in the fourth quarter, all 4 of them. And when we went out in the first round versus Chester, I mean, buddy, that hurt. You know, that hurt. First round and Strom Thurmond, that ain't it, you know. So that group of seniors this year really learned the importance of how important the little things are. And they just took so much pride in it. And, you know, we knew we had a shot to be really good. We knew we had a shot to compete for a championship. We really did. And, you know, we kind of got to the same spot, 1 possession game in the fourth quarter versus North Augusta. And, you know, we don't do the things that we need to. We turn it over. They pop a big play, and all of a sudden that score ends up being 3 touchdowns. 2 weeks later, whatever it is, we go to Lincoln County. It's kind of the same thing. We're in a dogfight. Doesn't go our way. And a 10-point game turns into a 23, whatever it was, 24-point game in the fourth quarter. And our season this year turned when we played Batesburg. You know, week 6, first conference game, we're on the road, we're down 14-0 going to the fourth quarter. And if I could show you, man, it's 14-6. Madre Wooden breaks a long run with 6 minutes to go, and Jalen Collins, he was the backside corner. It's nothing but effort. Runs him down, knocks him out of bounds, makes them snap it again. 2 plays later, they fumble. First play, we hit Caleb on a deep ball, 88 yards, something like that, tie the game, ended up winning it in overtime, and our season turned right there. And just the confidence that our guys had, that really no matter what spot we were put in, I don't know that it could be worse than being down 14-0 in the fourth on the road. So, you know, from that point, we kept grinding, kept getting better, and just kept finding ways to win some tough football games. But my high school football coach always used to tell me success is a journey, not a destination. And the destination that you're trying to get to is that state championship. But, man, the things that you remember is the journey along the way. And this certainly was a fun journey to be on with these guys.
Coach, you know, going into the season, I would say that you guys weren't really considered one of the favorites. You weren't in the top 10 poll. A lot of folks weren't talking about you even early on in the year. Is that something that you maybe used, you know, privately with your team as some motivation, said, hey, guys, nobody's talking about? I guess, how did y'all use that to kind of fuel those guys to make that deep run?
The first poll that came out, buddy, the Rebels were in receiving votes category. And it got printed out, and it got put on every squat rack in that weight room. So every time the boys stepped into the rack, they saw the Rebels were not on there. And ultimately, do those polls mean anything? No. But they kind of do, you know, because perception is reality, and this is the way we were perceived, not in the top 10. So did we use it as motivation? Yes. But there was one believer in the Reds. There was one believer, the one and only Kevin Thomas. My man, I
had you, Coach. I had you.
Steel built shirt. It is coming to you, my friend. It is coming to you. But yes, we did use that for motivation.
Oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, Kevin's head's probably gonna explode off the screen if anybody's watching this. Can't believe that he did that. I can't believe you. I'm kind of mad at you, Coach Webb, for making him sound like
team. Kevin Thomas, unranked. He believed in the boys in the Peachfield.
You look at the roster. You got tons of guys coming back. I was like, there's a lot of really good players. Like, what's everybody missing? I don't know, but you know, here we are.
Yeah,
the man.
Here we go. Let's get this thing back on track. I don't know how we got here, Coach. It is a great story. I can't believe Kevin did that. You talked about, you know, the journey, which has been fantastic. But what point in that journey did you realize that this team, you know, maybe it was in region play, or you know, maybe after that difficult non-region slate, that you was like, we're really poised to make a state championship run and go deep in the playoffs?
Yeah. When we won at Batesburg, we knew, like, all right, You know, the brackets that came out, and we found out that our conference had home field advantage. So when you see that and you start thinking, home field advantage in 2A upper state football. In 2024, Clinton had it. 23, Gray had it. 22, Abbeville. 21, Gray. 20, Abbeville. You know, so you got to go all the way back to 2019 since the person that had home field advantage didn't get to the state championship. So we made that a big deal. Got to get the number 1 seed. It's going to be really tough to beat us in the Peachfields. So we beat Saluda week 9 for the conference championship on the last play of the game. We had to make a stop on the last play of the game in the end zone to win it. And that was the second time in 3 or 4 weeks, our defense had to make a stop with no time on the clock to win it. And, you know, when you get into, all right, boys, you know, home field advantage, here we go. I thought the best game that we played all year was Chester in the 3rd round. You know, when we had Chester come and tell, Chester was good. They were a good team, man. Coach Victor Floyd does a great job. Those boys are disciplined. They're fast. They're physical. And we played well. I mean, we played well. It was 31-0 midway through the 4th. And, you know, when you kind of get there and here you are in the Upstate Championship, you just got to go play your best. But it was a lot of fun, you know. But the win versus Batesburg, you get the number 1 seed versus Saluda. You beat the team that beat you last year. You know, we had a lot of confidence going into Thanksgiving.
Coach, taking a look back at the state title game, you guys won obviously 26-7 over Hampton County out of the lower state. You know, we'll get to some more things in the game in particular, but you guys were really, I thought, pretty balanced on offense. I think you ran for about 174, threw for about 125, 130. Was that something you saw, you know, when you watched on film, you're like, hey, I think we can have success on both avenues here? Or is it just kind of the way the game happened to play out for you guys?
Well, that had kind of been the recipe to our success, you know, kind of slowing the game down. We had a lot of people playing both ways, slowing the game down. Our offensive line had played so well down the stretch, and just kind of relying on them, giving the ball to Deontay a bunch, you know, just pounding out 3, 4, 5 yards. And that had just been kind of what had worked for us. So we felt like that was what gave us the best chance to win. But, you know, when you get to a state championship game against an offense like that, you know, we just felt like this is what's going to be best for us. You know, just ground and pound. When we get a chance to hit big plays, we felt like we could. We just had to hit them. But that had just been kind of what had worked for us. So we just continued playing at that pace, physical style, run the ball, and when we had chances to take some shots, we took them.
Yeah, Coach, we got to talk about that defense and the performance that they had in the state title game, because that was your game. Honestly, we were going into it, was the one we looked forward to most, because you guys looked like you matched up so well. The styles of play were very similar, but your defense had that edge. You held that high-powered, you know, ground rushing attack to just 1 touchdown. What did your team do so well in that ball game, you know, to really take over and dominate?
They just ran to the ball. You know, we made it a big emphasis that week that, you know, we got to get 11 hats to the ball. We always make it a point, but, you know, versus them dudes, man, they could go. And it was, you know, if they got behind us, we weren't going to catch them. So we had to just run to the football, and read our keys. And, you know, I thought the guys up front played really well. They didn't make a whole lot of plays in the backfield. You know, they didn't get a whole lot of publicity, so to speak. But, man, they played so well, just fitting and holding gaps and fighting double teams. And our linebackers ran. Our safeties filled. You know, some of the plays that Shy Williams, our free safety, made, you know, running alley to alley in that game were incredible. So, you know, just running to the football was the biggest emphasis. And when you get there, buddy, just bring everything you got with you. And they did a really good job of it.
Coach, you've kind of hit on a little bit earlier on in the interview, but, you know, this was the 3rd state title in school history, first in 20 years. You guys have a awesome community support each and every week. They showed up in Orangeburg, obviously had a great showing down there as well. But how cool is it, man, to bring that back to that town that is, you know, like you said, been so close the last few years, hadn't quite got over that hump, but how much, you know, I guess joy did that give you, Ben, to give it, celebrate with the guys in Orangeburg and obviously back in the Peach Fields that night as well?
Man, it was awesome. What was really cool was week 2, we played Silver Bluff, and we had our 20-year reunion for that 2005 state championship team, and a bunch of those guys came back. And they were in the field house with us pregame. Coach Sawyer gave the pregame speech, and we told those guys, these guys have got a chance to do what y'all did. And to have those guys in your corner, there's so many people that have played that take pride in Strom Thurmond football. The community supports us, and to just have those guys supporting you, to do it, to win it and bring a championship back to those guys, to this community. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's about as satisfying of a feeling as you can have to just see everybody come out and support us and celebrate with us. But it's been really, really, really special. And it's something I hope we can capture again. It's been a good feeling.
That's what I want to know about that celebration once you got back, got the police escort, lights going, everybody's in the stadium packed. What was that experience like once you guys, got back to the Peach Fields and you could celebrate with the entire community?
Yeah, it was incredible. So we really didn't know what we were going to. You got to come through Johnston to get to Edgefield. Well, the school's in Johnston, but you got to come through Johnston to get to the school. And the street was lined, It was lined. We were basically just kind of rolling the bus, no foot on the gas, just people going crazy. And it was so fun. But when we got back to the school and you kind of turn into the school, the lights are on, there's cars everywhere, there's police lights leading us in there, and you see a couple hundred people just in the stands waiting on us. And man, that was awesome. It was awesome. And to be able to hang those guys gold medals on their necks, in the Peach Fields in front of that crowd with the flashing lights and the Jumbotron going, dude, it was awesome. But, to be able to show and share with our community, a little glimpse of the journey that we have been on as a team, not just on the field, but also the accomplishments that we felt like we had off the field with our growth as a team of trying to keep Jesus first in our program. We had 23 or 24 guys accept Christ this year, which was unbelievable. And to be able to share that with our community as well, to let them know that this is awesome, but there's a bigger champion that we're trying to chase. And to be able to celebrate that with them as well, it was so special.
Coach, I guess kind of on a more of a personal side on your front, this wasn't your first stop as a head coach. It didn't work out the way you wanted it to at Clinton, obviously. You go back, you're an assistant, you win a state title at Saluda, and you come back now and you win a state title here at Strom Thurmond. And I don't know what the right word is, but is it almost, like validating to you, say, hey, I knew I could do this, and I'm glad I've had a chance to coach my own team to a state title? Or is it, I don't know. I guess, what has that experience been like for you? And then obviously, how does this compare to winning one as an assistant just a few years ago? Is it a little more, exciting for you now that it's your squad?
Whatever you're trying to describe, yes. Yes. Just the 3 state championships that I've been a part of, all of them have been incredibly special. And, none of them have been about me for sure. But, to win that one in 2009 for Coach Andy Young, that was his first one. And it was the first one in Clinton in 22 years. It was so much fun, so special to be a part of. And then to go to Saluda for my buddy, Stuart Young, who hadn't won a state championship in 56 years or whatever it was, to accomplish that with and for him was so special. And, I would be lying to you if I said it wasn't a different feeling being the head coach. But you're trying to win it for the people on your staff that's been coaching for 14, 15, 20 years that haven't won one. You're trying to win it for these guys that you go to work with every day. You're trying to win it for this community. You're trying to win it for the school. You're just, you know what I mean? You're still, it's not about me, but man, it's a good feeling, and it just kind of, I've told y'all before, I think there's times that the good Lord, he's never left me through the highest of high or lowest of lows. He's never left. But, you know, there's times when December 6, 2018, I was fired. You know, December 6, 2019, we were the state champions at Saluda. And December 6, 2025, we win the state championship at Strom Thurmond. And, you know, I think that as much as anything is the good Lord just saying, dude, I've got you, man. You know, I got you. You're right where you need to be. You're right where I want you. Just keep doing the things that I've asked of you. And it's been a really good feeling.
That's awesome, Coach. Last one as we kind of wrap this thing up. We're going to be talking about you're going to bring you back 2045. You might still be coaching, and they're celebrating this team 20 years from now. You know, what are you going to remember most about this season, you know, as you reflect on that journey?
The way these guys love playing football with each other. You know, there's a lot of them, these seniors especially, that I talk about. You know, a lot of them, they don't have to take a class every period of the day. You know, and there's a bunch of them that fourth block, they don't have a class, and they would come to that field house and they would sit right outside of my office with each other and just cut up with each other, and just the fun that they had being around each other. You know, we didn't have any issues in the building, none. I mean, we didn't have to go deal with anybody getting in trouble. We didn't have to deal with anybody going to the office. I mean, they just handled their business. It was so much fun. And the relationships with these players, with the coaches, you know, those are the things that I will never forget about these guys. There's obviously moments throughout the season that I could never forget, but the relationships are what's most important and what I treasure the most.
Well, this has been great. I want everyone to go check out Coach Webb and the Rebels program on social media. They do a great job posting stuff about their kids and their program. Certainly follow them on there. Like I mentioned, follow us as well at Movin Chains, movinchains.com. There's our website and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Movin The Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Jerel, anything else for Coach to let him go tonight?
Well, Coach, I just got to say congratulations, first of all. I mean, it's got to be extremely special winning this thing as a head coach. You know, we've been locked in since we made that trip down to Saluda a few years back with your program, that region specifically, and everything you guys do. So I know it's exciting times. You know, we keep up with the stuff. We just see that everybody's still celebrating down there, as you should. But I just want to tell you congratulations. Thank you for always being willing and to be a part of our program and give us access and let us see what you guys do so well. And I guess go get another one next year.
We're going to try. We're going to try. We're going to go to work. We're going to get us another one. I don't know when, but we're going to get another one. And, you know, I appreciate y'all, the job that you do, man. You're first class. And, you know, whether you pick us or not, you know, I appreciate you, and I'll always remember it. But whether you pick us or not, I appreciate y'all. I really do. We look forward to looking at your videos each week. You know, nobody covers high school football in South Carolina like you guys do. And, you know, you're always welcome in the Peachfield.
Really appreciate that, Coach. Look forward to seeing you sometime this offseason and catching up again soon. But congrats again, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Founders Federal Credit Union means banking made for you. The on the go, the pick up and go, and the oh, I want to go. Because at Founders, we give you the financial tools that make every dollar work for you. For the little things to the big things. For your future and your peace of mind. We'll always stay grounded in our roots, but reaching beyond what you'd expect is where we'll always go. Find out what our members already know and enjoy a new way to bank. Relax, you're with Founders.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.